How are we doing? This is always weird because I look at myself in the camera, but the camera's right here. That's where I should be looking. Wait and see if anybody wants to hang out for a little bit. Where is he? There he is. Ernie was just poking his head in too. He's been coming around a lot more. He's slowly settling in. Please say I made this public and not unlisted. Okay, cool. Hi, Gay. Good to see you. Morning, everybody. Even though it's almost dark here in Vermont. Let's see, it's 5 o'clock in Vermont. The days are getting longer, thankfully, but it's pretty much darkness. We've had like 2 weeks of just dreary, cloudy weather, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't getting to me. Seasonal depression is very real. It's just tough living in places like this. Like, I go skiing and get outside, but between work and video editing and being stuck behind a computer, haven't spent much time up at the land. It's tough. I'm dying for some sunlight. And normally I try and do at least one trip a winter and go somewhere tropical or somewhere warm for that matter, or my work brings me to places like that, but unfortunately that's not the case this year. Maybe I'll be able to squeak a trip in somewhere in March. It's tough when you travel all the time for work. You just want to be home. But between all the different work trips I have, it's tough to really schedule a vacation right now, but I'll find some time. Daisy said, it's 10 p.m. here in London. Yes, I have seasonal depression. Yeah, I mean, I know it's very similar climate-wise there in terms of the dreariness. I know you guys don't get snow like we do here in Vermont, but yeah, just not seeing the sun. And then you have, I forget what they're called, but there's like 7 zones in the world where people live the longest, and they all happen to be in sunny places because vitamin D is so important for our personal health. Leela Love said, hi, Justin. Saw the last video you posted. It was satisfying to see that you were done. Yeah, that was super satisfying. It's super satisfying for me to edit these videos because I'm literally throwing them together like a day or two before I release them just because I'm so busy. And a lot of this stuff that I've done, I haven't forgotten per se, but I've definitely forgotten a certain level of detail that I've captured by filming. And it's just a nice reminder of all the work I accomplished the last year. And it's just like a big weight off my shoulders knowing that now that old trailer, the woodshed, the pole barn is all gone, which I can't wait for you guys to see. I think 2 to 3 episodes from now is going to be the episode where the excavator starts ripping apart the old trailer. So I've got some little editing ideas up my sleeve that will make that episode extremely poignant and satisfying. So that's always nice. Ina said, forced myself to walk around in Harlem, New York City today. 3-mile walk and shop. Yeah, getting outside even every morning. They say like when the sun comes up, if you can go outside and just stare into the sun, it's good for internally for your brain, which I need to do more of that. I wake up pretty early, but these dreary days have just had me sleeping and being lazy. I live for the sun. I'm not a religious person, but I would say if I had to choose one thing I worship, it is the sun. KC said it'll be cool to watch the old trailer being demoed. Yeah, so we started it. I had my 2 buddies, Nick and Nick, Big Nick and Little Nick, and we physically cut into the side of the trailer that's now exposed because the woodshed isn't there, and cut a huge hole so that we could carry out the 2 old wood stoves. So that was like the first level of demolition we did. It was so nice having my buddies up there. I think that's in 2 episodes from now. And yeah, that was just the main reason. Everyone asked, why didn't you just have the excavator rip it apart? It's because I wanted to salvage those wood stoves, and I didn't want to collapse the ceilings on them and have to dig insulation and animal crap and all kinds of stuff like that. Leela Love said, I live in East Harlem and it's kind of depressing right now. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine living I mean, I guess being in a city, there's a lot more to do and there's more life around you. There's people out and about, but being somewhere like that during the dead of winter seems slightly depressing to me as well. Or living near the ocean, like in Rhode Island or the coast of Massachusetts or Maine, like there's something to me about the ocean in the winter that is very bleak. It's also soothing, but it's also like you're just staring into bleak infinity. Casey said, have you seen any raccoons around? They're probably missing their hiding holes. They definitely are missing their hidey holes. I feel bad. It was funny when I first got up to the land, I had set up a trail camera inside the woodshed just to see if anyone was poking around in there trying to take stuff. And there was a raccoon that like crawled up this post and was literally inches from the camera. And I got some funny photos of him, but I've never personally seen any raccoons with my own two eyes. I know they like to creep around at night, and I do feel bad about wrecking their potential headquarters, which was probably that old trailer, but they've got plenty of places to burrow up on that land and my surrounding neighbors. Frank said, last week's live, I posted that my cat was just diagnosed with metastatic cancer. She passed away this Sunday. Sad days now. I'm really sorry to hear that, brother. That's devastating. I hope you got to have a long, enjoyable tenure with your cat. I really not looking forward to the day that occurs with both Ernie and Chester. That's why I'm trying to just enjoy the moment with them as much as possible. And it sounds silly, but I'm thankful to have as much video and photo documentation of these cats that I do, because one day it'll be priceless to be able to watch all these videos of when I was a lot younger and figuring out my goals with this land. And then who knows, maybe I'll have a house built and I'll be sitting in it, but that's the future and no days are promised. So sorry for your loss, Frank. Let's see here. Chemtrails, Ina said. Yeah, I don't know about chemtrails. Seems like I'm not hardcore conspiracy person, but I'm definitely open to the idea that we're being duped in many ways, and chemtrails don't seem that far-fetched to me, but who knows? I mean, our public water system, like they put fluoride in it. I listened to a whole podcast about that. The benefit is it makes our teeth enamel last longer, but there's also a lot of downsides to it, and apparently it's a byproduct of the agriculture industry, because I'm not even gonna pretend like I know anything, so if you want to know more, look into it. But they used a material to prevent, what am I looking for? Just symptoms of, agricultural crops struggling. I don't know what I'm looking for, diseases and whatnot. And a byproduct of that was all of this fluoride, which they found a way to repurpose by putting in our drinking water. MKVS, are you still putting out food and shelters for the cats on the property? I am. I haven't been up there in 2 weeks, so my guess is the feeders are empty, but the cats that are up there are resourceful, and the remaining ones do belong to my neighbors, so they do get taken care of. I think they just come down to my property to check and see if Chester or Ernie are there and to get some additional snacks. I have a work shoot this weekend, and then I'll be going up to the land maybe later this weekend or early next week to refill that. Actually just got a nice donation from Maureen Shea. She donated this big bag of food she bought through the Amazon wish list, and that will be going up to the trailer and will be used for all the kitties up there, and I'm sure Chester and Ernie will eat some of it too, so appreciate you guys. Soviet Union defector, fluoride free with perfect teeth for 15 years. Yeah, I'm trying to not only get a well drilled on my land, but I'm trying to figure out ways to make my tap water at home safer to drink. It's just crazy when you read about the fact that 99% of food and water has microplastics in them now. Like, I don't know what the average life expectancy will be for my generation, but I have a strong feeling that it's going to be a lot less than my grandparents, because they were eating much cleaner food. And I don't know, we just put way more crap in our bodies now, it seems like. Way more preserved foods and processed foods. They don't make it easy to eat clean, although organic food's expensive. It's definitely trying times. in terms of personal health and diet. Supplement with calcium, magnesium, K2, and D3. I don't know what K2 is. I thought that was something that people smoke and go crazy, but I do take vitamin D3, magnesium. I don't take calcium, but I drink milk here and there. I probably should take calcium. Wake up, said peanut butter is still kicking. He starts his blood thinner tomorrow. That's so great to hear. I'm happy to hear that. That's one of our viewers whose cat was potentially going to have to be put down. So it's good to hear that your kitty is fighting back. We love that. I use Berkey travel filters. Okay, that's two people that said Berkey. I'm going to have to look into this Berkey. I've also heard about Kangen water. I've heard about hydrogen infusers that make your water hydrogen rich. Apparently that's very good for your blood. I'm going down the personal health wormhole this year. I just have more time to focus on myself, and I'm trying to take better care of myself, go to the gym, eat a little bit cleaner, and just take care of my body. Because as they say, your body is your temple, and I want to be strong and healthy as I age. Vitamin K, Jane Doe said, which is usually put in with D3. Good to know. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I usually fast every day. I do intermittent fasting, so I won't eat till around 12 or 2. I don't do it to lose weight because I'm already a high metabolism skinny dude. I do it for a process called autophagy, which is if your body hits 16 hours of fasting, it goes into a survival mode of sorts. This is a rough summarization by somebody who has no health or medical background. So if you want to look into autophagy, ATOPHAGY, it starts burning through all the broken proteins and built up sugars and crap in your body that ultimately causes cancer, Alzheimer's, and other diseases. And I like it. I feel like if I eat a breakfast in the morning, I normally crash energy-wise because I like to have a big breakfast, a lot of bacon or sausage, eggs, toast, even cereal. Cereal is so laced with sugar, granola, all that crap. So it's usually to my benefit to skip breakfast and just have a nice lunch. I use an under-counter 2-stage filter. I live in West Virginia. The water is so contaminated here. That's really sad to hear. The water in Vermont is definitely clean in the grand scheme of things, but can always be better. Dr. Ekberg does great videos on fasting, Koviet said. I'll have to look into that. Yep, just hanging out. Oh, Ernie. I brought him to the vet. It was it was honestly probably equally as anxiety inducing for me than him, just knowing I had to put him back into the cat carrier. I took some of your guys' advice. Some people said tilt the cat carrier on its ass end so it's sticking straight up so you can just kind of drop the cat in by its butt instead of putting it head first in. So I did that with little Ern and brought him to the vet. I actually got quoted. Where is the paperwork? I brought it down here somewhere. Well, anyway, I've got, basically, long story short, he has gingivitis. I had the amazing vet who I had in Chester's rescue video. It was awesome, too, to hear him talk about the video and how much he appreciated it. And he was definitely very fond of the video, so that was nice. And he's got such a great demeanor. He was very friendly with Ernie, and Ernie was, all things considered, pretty comfortable at the vet. But after looking at his teeth, he deduced that he has gingivitis. So his gums are just a little bit inflamed from bacteria working its way down from the teeth beneath the gum line. So based on what he saw, he needs a cleaning within the next 6 months. And I was quoted anywhere from $700 to $1,500, the latter being if they have to pull a tooth, if they do find something that's worse than he expected. So I'm going to squirrel some money away the next 2 months and probably get that done in a little bit, just because he's not in pain. His breath does stink, but it's not really bothering him nor me. If he gets drool on my hands when I give him lovin's, I just wash my hands off. But that's good. I'm happy he's not in pain, and I don't have to bring him right back to the vets. The vets are crazy expensive. It's definitely a racket. It's kind of like dental work, but it's also very necessary. So I could go to another dentist or another veterinarian, but I really like these people. And my best friend's girlfriend also works at this clinic, so it's nice to have her there as a point of contact. But yeah, that's good news. I'd say all things considered, at least he doesn't have an abscess or a rotten tooth. So it's gonna suck to pay up, but when the time comes, hopefully I'll have the money saved and we can get his mouth clean and that breath fresh. So yeah, that's good. I shouldn't have fed him before I brought him to the vet, because when we left, he was in the cat carrier, and about halfway on the drive home, he shit in the cat carrier, and it smelled so putrid in my little tiny cab of my Ford Ranger. I had the windows all the way down in the middle of the freezing cold, so I wouldn't pass out from the smell of his turd. But I had a little cat bed in there, and luckily when we got home, it was stuck on the back of the cat bed, didn't get all on his butt, and didn't mix all around in the cat carrier, so it was a very simple cleanup compared to when I brought him home from the land, and I had to basically hose the entire thing out because it was filled with piss and shit. Sorry, I know that's kind of gross, but I figured I'd give you guys the full rundown. So note to self, do not feed Ernie before going to the vet next time. Yeah, he's just not the most fond. Like when I loaded him, wake up said peanut butter gets sick in the car too. When I loaded him into the carrier, he was definitely howling for like the first 5 to 10 minutes. I felt pretty bad, but I knew it was for his health, so had to be done. And Mara said they are taking advantage of your celebrity. I don't think they think I'm made of money by any means at all, which I'm not. I think that's the standard quote for them. And like I said, my best friend's girlfriend works for them, so I'm sure she would tell me if they were trying to grease the wheel. But no, I could go somewhere else, but then I'd have to pay for another review appointment, which cost $100, and then do it all over. So, and it is because of the anesthesia. Jane Doe said because of the anesthesia, that's probably why they do put him under. Leah Love, $5 donation. This is for Ernie. I don't have a cat now, so I love to see your fur babies. Oh, that's super sweet of you. And I will try. I haven't been posting as many YouTube shorts just because I've kind of been in a funk and I've been busy with client work and video editing. You're just staring at a screen all day. It's fun. It's cool. You're creative and you're making cool videos, but it's draining like any other job. You know, I don't shoot any passion projects in terms of video anymore. I used to get so creative and shoot cliff jumping videos and all kinds of stuff. And now I would say my only passion project is the Otter Camp series on my land. So it's no different than any other job. You do something enough, and then in your free time, it's kind of the last thing you want to do. Like, I still love picking up the camera and shooting it, but the thought of having to sit behind my computer for more time to edit more videos is just... So I will try and keep putting out YouTube shorts and stuff to fill the gaps in between the episodes and keep providing updates on Ernie. And yeah, Ernie and Chester are both doing well. They've been getting along great. Rainy Bellow Fog just gave a $20 donation. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. All this money is going towards Ernie's bills, so duly noted. Ina gave a $5 donation. Thanks, Ina. Debbie Cruz said she got a $1,200 quote for cat teeth cleaning, so that makes me feel a little bit better. I'm sure it varies on where you are in this country, or what country you're in for that matter. Andrea M said, I can't wait to see your first video when you're done with the whole build, seeing you and your two boys living the life. Gosh, I can't wait for that either, but I'm going to try and enjoy the process. I think after realizing all the septic stuff and the well, it's probably 2 to 3 years off if I'm going to be realistic. I had high hopes to get a cement slab poured this year and something framed up. And when I put my mind to something, I normally can achieve it, but there's going to be a lot of money involved in getting a septic done and a well drilled. The well doesn't necessarily have to be before I build, so I could put that on the back burner, as it's going to be anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000+, which is far out of my personal finances at the time, or currently. But yeah, I think in 2 years probably I'll have something framed up. If I can get something done by the end of this fall, that will be amazing. And then it'll just be super nice. As long as I can get it all framed in and do the siding and the roofing, get the wood stove set up in there, then I'm just going to take my sweet time on doing everything on the interior. Like, I want to create my own fireplace mantle out of stones from the creek on my land, which I have no shortage of. I want to do stucco for the bottom half of the exterior of the home. So I want to be stucco about 4 feet up. That'll be against hardy board. And then the rest of it will be probably some sort of nice wood exterior. I want to really make this place nice. Like, it's going to be very small and straightforward, but I'm just into tasteful builds. I could easily just pay someone to slap a modular home up and go the easy route, but I want to build a house that has my personality embedded in it. And I have a lot of old relics from insane asylums that I want to incorporate into the build. Like, I want to incorporate this old window grate that weighs probably 120 pounds. I dragged that 2.5 miles through the woods to my truck. And it's from an insane asylum that is in the process of being demolished. Sorry for my shakes. So I'll probably try and go back if I have the free time and get some more old steel and cool things that I can somehow embed inside the home, or I don't even know. Those ideas will come as I get more into the building process. I also want to build a wood-fired oven. Like, once I have a porch outside the place, I want to build a nice wood-fired oven to cook pizzas and other food in. And I want to use stones from the land to do that. I just like the idea of mixing my own mortar and building something like that. It's going to be so cool. And I'm going to learn so much. Let's just scroll through here. The town of Westford Highway Department. Oh, we got some Vermonters here, Scott and Sarah. I appreciate you guys. I had a riding mower for sale yesterday on Front Porch Forum for $200. So in 2 episodes from now, you'll see I spent $3,500 on a DR brush hog, and admittedly, it's not a quick solution for mowing my field. It takes damn near forever because it's about 3.5 feet wide, but the thing can mow down trees that are about 4 feet tall. So it made light work of everything in the field, and it has really grippy tires and a strong engine. So I've mowed my field when it was pretty much completely mud filled, and it made it through. So that is coming in future episodes. It's still tedious work. I think at the end of September or October, I mowed pretty much 90% of the field, and I walked 17 miles doing so, just zigzagging back and forth. I looked on my health app on my phone, and at 17 miles, it took a day and a half. And then Mark, the excavator guy you guys saw, he was like, oh, I could have done that in 3 or 4 hours on my tractor. And I'm like, Jesus. So if I get a tractor, I'm obviously going to get a mower for it so I don't have to use the brush hog. Still debating the tractor thing. It's going to depend on this whole septic and all the money involved with that. But the mowing does get better. I know you guys have had to watch me struggle with 2 budget lawnmowers from Home Depot and Walmart, but third time's the charm, I promise you that. This DR thing is awesome. And even my neighbors who have like tractors with mowers, they're like, I might need you to come up with that brush hog this upcoming season to help clear some small trees and thickets around my property. So it serves a different purpose. Let's see. Melissa said a patio with big river rocks would be beautiful. I'll probably do something like that too. Are we going to get a close-up peek of Chester and Ernie? Well, there's Ernie. He's crawling around. Ernie. Hi, say hi. He always looks so suspect. He's been hiding under the couch because my dog is here the last couple days, Joey. We'll go check in on Ernie in a little bit. We'll bring him some food, and I know this little meatball's ready to eat. Yeah, the brush hog's amazing. It's definitely one of the best pieces of equipment I've bought. And it's, someone said, cheaper than a gym membership. Yeah, pushing that thing around, even though it has a strong motor, you got to manhandle it. It definitely gets you in shape. Joey is upstairs. I'm going to feed the cats, and then maybe I'll call him down here so you guys can see Joey. But we'll do a little cat feeding time. Yeah, Ernie's probably not the biggest fan of dogs, but I think he'll come around. He's been like, I had some friends over last night, and he crept in here, which is totally abnormal, and was poking around. All right, this is, as soon as I touch these bowls, Chester's gonna he's gonna perk up from his tree. Let's see if I can set up the camera so you guys can see. Here we go. Called it. Oh, big yawn. Big yawn. What do you think, you little meatball? You ready? You ready? He knows. Oops. I've been doing Fancy Feast gravy lovers, and they like them, but I'm a skeptic. I feel like you're getting less food because they're just filling it with gravy. So I'm going back to the normal ones after this because I don't really see the benefit of giving them the gravy lovers. Maybe someone can tell me otherwise. It's just personal preference with cats most of the time. I think someone just gave a donation, which I may have missed. Let me just scroll up and make sure I didn't miss it. Rainy Bell Fog, $20 donation. Thank you so much. Or that was the one from earlier. I don't know. Losing track of life. Chester's right at my leg, rubbing against me right now. He knows it's a good time. What do you guys think? Do you think you're getting more gravy and less meat in these? Still looks like a good portion, but... Okay, Casey said sometimes gravy will provide moisture if a cat doesn't drink enough water. I think my cats drink enough water, but maybe that's the benefit to these. It's good. If your cat doesn't like drinking water, you can give them the gravy lovers. We're learning here. Chester is rubbing against my legs hard. What are you doing, huh? We gonna show him your famous little butt waddle? One of my favorite things about you. Chester, where are you? Frank, $20 donation. Thanks, brother. Chester, go. Show us that chonky butt. Yeah. His little Aladdin pants. He's like, just bring the food, for crying out loud. Oh, I'm sorry. I just stepped on your little foot. There you go. Here he goes. Debbie Cruz asked, does the vet have any idea how old they are? He said Chester's probably only 2 to 3 years old. Ernie, because I got a second opinion because the first vet was just not my favorite. Ernie, he said he could even be 4 to 5 years old. So that's pretty exciting to hear. The other vet said 6 to 8. So who really knows? I mean, he did more of an examination, felt like his body muscle, and he seemed to know a bit more about cats. So hopefully Ernie's on the younger side. Covey had said, I think most cat food is bad quality now. It's like soy, very bad because my cats will not bother with raw. I was using the Viva raw food, and I still have some more I need to thaw, and I had success when I mixed it half and half. I would mix half a can with half of the raw meat and just mince it up with a spoon. So maybe give that a shot. Bill said my cat just licks the gravy and leaves the meat. It was her favorite cat food for a year, but not anymore. I love his little paws when they're all scrunched like that. Let's get up close for the folks, Chester. Look at all his hair. Yeah. Let's bring your brother some food, right? You gotta feed your brother so you don't finish first and then try and eat his food like the little meatball you are. Reach over and grab this. Someone commented that my lives make them nauseous. And I'm sorry. It's just tough. I even felt bad with the last episode of Otter Camp. Like, I'm waving the camera around, and sometimes I'm filming and I don't realize I'm doing that. And I think the future episodes, it's more static shots from a tripod. There's less of me waving the camera around like a psycho. So I can understand your guys' sentiment, and I'll try and do better. Let's see what Ernie thinks. Ernie! I know you're... Oh, there he is. You can see his little eyes. Come get your foodies. Go ahead. He's like, I'm not coming out, Dad. Come on, we see you. He's a little phantom. He really is a little phantom. Come here. Ernst. We'll put it right here and we'll catch him when he comes out to eat it. So yeah, if any of the videos have been making you nauseous, I do apologize. Like I said, I'm just doing the best job I can here. We're gonna set up shop right here. Oh, there he is. He's crawling out. Get your food, Ernst. Joey's not down here. You're safe. He's so cute. He's like a little bear. He really, yeah, he's so camouflaged. Like, he'll be hiding under stuff, and I just can't see him. There he is. Good boy. He's lapping up the gravy. Let's see if I can army crawl closer to him. Sorry, this is probably going to be nausea-inducing footage, but it's the only way I can approach him without him scuttling off. How's that, Ernie? If you guys could see me doing the inchworm right now, you'd laugh. I'm not going to get any closer. You get a good view. Debbie said, I have a Chester. Well, great minds think alike. Good name. My Chester says hi to yours. Look at Ernie. It's funny, when you pet him real good, he sticks his little pink tongue out. He just starts mouth breathing. Cecilia gave a $24 donation. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Cecile. Thank you so much. All this money's going to go towards Ernie's dental treatment, so I appreciate you guys. Would I ever take the boys with me on an asylum adventure? Definitely not. It would just be too stressful. There's so much broken glass and collapsing floors and liability. I wouldn't be able to truly explore. I do have some friends that have small dogs, and they brought them to some of the more relaxed insane asylums that don't have crazy amounts of security, which is pretty funny to see a dog inside an abandoned building. But, oh, Chester. Chester. Look at that. We got both of them. Chester, don't touch his food. Chester. Chester. You little shit. Chester. That's Ernie's food. I knew you'd do that. You're stealing his dinner. You don't get double servings. You are a devious little boy. Look at that big tail. All senses firing said, I need the update, or I missed the update. What does Ernie need for his teeth? He has gingivitis, and he will need to get a cleaning. So it's probably the best out of all the possible things. You are such a devious little boy. You want double can, huh? You're so cute. Yeah, you're the best. I love you. You are literally the king. And tomorrow, I will hopefully be launching the Chester shirts on my Shopify. And if I do, I will post that on the page, on my community page, where I post all the updates about going live. Cat's Cat said, get them insured. I honestly might do that. It seems like it's a good deal. Oh, there goes Ernie. I'll put his food under there. He likes it under this couch the most. Chester, this is not for you. Sorry. There you go, sweetie. He's like, Chester's too chonky to come down here and bother me. Chester's like, Dad, you're really pissing me off. You are such a sassy little cutie. Look at you. Oh, if only you knew how many people love you. It wouldn't even matter, because you'd still have the same ego. You're just a boss, aren't you? Yeah. There he is. Oh, you are such a little sweetheart. There's just something about Ernie, and there's something about Chester, but he's just different than Chester. He's just, you can tell he's lived such a rough life. Chester, you wouldn't even know it. He's just the ultimate king, but Ernie's just, he's like a little Little poor soul that finally was rescued. But it's wild when I look back at what this little dude looked like. He had ear mites and was so dirty and beat up, and Chester's whiskers were burned off. It's kind of wild, too. He's getting like these, I don't know if, he's getting these far side whiskers, like really far back, right here. I'm like, is that a whisker? And it is. You can see it right there. I'm like, I didn't know that they had whiskers that far back. Well, Chester didn't take much. He was already super friendly. He would meow when I would walk around and work, but Ernie's just different. He's a little survivor. Who knows what his background was? Leela Love said, Humane Society has really good prices on expensive procedures. Yeah, if I have to do any neuterings or anything like that, I'm definitely going to go to the Humane Society. Casey said, Chester looks like he might be part Maine Coon. I think he might have a little Maine Coon in him. I definitely think he has Ragdoll in him. I got the cat DNA test. I've just been so busy and haven't done the saliva swabs yet, but I will get on it and get us some results so we can do a little reveal on one of these lives and tell you guys exactly what the data says. Ina said Ernie's from the trenches. He definitely is. Chester loves a nice Jersey Mike's bag. He sits right on it. Good night, my Daisy. Thanks for checking in. Yeah, my mom has a Siamese cat, and it is so bonded to her. After 1 year, it used to just hide from her. Debbie Cruz said the length of their whiskers are supposed to reflect the width of their body when they're judging tight places. Well, Chester is definitely a wide load, so that would make sense why he's growing super long whiskers. Aren't you, buddy? Should we get your brush and brush you? Oh, you're so cute. Yeah. You want the little double ear rubs? Oh. Ooh. He loves those. Yeah. He's so cute. So sassy. But so sweet. His perfect little paws. Yeah. You're a good boy, huh? Night, Nia. Thanks for checking in. Does anyone have any questions? I'm trying to think what else is going on in my world. Not too much, honestly. Just waiting for warmer weather. Yeah, I can't. Debbie said they love brushing except not belly. Chester does not like anything belly related usually. The Hitman, get your container. That is in not this upcoming episode, but the next episode, the container gets dropped off. So yeah, got the container. It's serving me very well. It's nice to have storage and just something up there. Andrea M., random question here, but for a person as a beginner in video photography, do you recommend a specific camera? Any mirrorless camera is going to serve you well. I started with Canon and I still shoot with Canon. The cameras that you can get nowadays for the cost are like mind-blowingly powerful. So you cannot really go wrong any way you go about it. I would just get one that has interchangeable lenses, because then you can buy lenses that you will actually use on future cameras you buy. So the lenses are more of the investment that holds value. Like, I probably accumulated $20,000 to $30,000 in lenses over the last 12 years, and I've continued to use them on the first camera I started with more than 10 plus years ago on the camera I use now. So I would recommend getting a mirrorless camera with interchangeable lenses, and extra battery, and like 128 to 256 gigabyte SD card. And then shoot in manual. That's how you become a good photographer. People buy cameras like that and keep it in auto, and it defeats the purpose. If you put it in manual, you'll learn how to use your ISO, which is how much light your camera's letting in, and then your shutter speed, which if you want to capture fast moving action sports, you would set a high shutter speed. Or if you want to do long exposures to get car lights that are a long stream or a star shot, you would do a longer exposure where you let your camera's shutter stay open for a longer period of time. All the cameras that everyone has said, I'm pretty sure are DSLR cameras, which are older. I would not buy a DSLR anymore because they have phased that technology out. So any lenses you buy for DSLR may be cheaper, but all the technology is gone mirrorless. So I shot with DSLRs for probably 8 years, and I upgraded to the Canon R5 2 years ago. And yeah, I would just say buy the newer technology, because if you're going to invest in lenses, you'll be able to use them without an adapter, and they will work better. The autofocus is better, all that. Valentina said, without giving too much away, did you get to fix the roof leak in the trailer? So I have 3 5-gallon buckets of roofing tar that were left behind by Richard, and I don't know how many episodes from now, but it's coming up. There's an episode where I tar the roof and all the spots. Unfortunately, there's still a little bit of a leak, but for the most part, it's a lot better, but it's not perfect. Fortunately, I don't live in that trailer full time, so it's not a make or break for me. What do you have for dinner tonight? I don't know yet. I'm probably not going to cook anything because I'm ill prepared. I did make a nice lunch today, and then I had a protein shake about an hour ago, and might go out to a spot called Al's and get a nice dinner. It's a classic little burger spot. Christine said, I'll have to look back at your drone shots. Is the current trailer on the land close to the road? The trailer that I sleep in and that we gutted and made like nice and semi-livable, is the far end of it is not more than 10 feet from the road. And that's actually a beautiful thing about this land. I don't have a driveway. Like, I literally just pull off the road I live on onto my parking platform. So in regards to having to like plow a huge long driveway in the winter, it's not a factor. Not a factor. Excuse me. As BCC Photech said, as a retired automotive-related photo pro, is there a way to see any of your work? By the way, unenhanced photography forever. Yeah, if I shot film, my photos wouldn't be enhanced, but we're in a digital world, so I shoot everything in RAW, and I do edit it so I can create my own style of photos. You can go to my website, justinjenny.com. There's a pretty big portfolio of some of my photo work, and on my Instagram, I have tons of my photography. I'm pretty proud of my photography. I do have some motorsport stuff on there, but most of my photography is underwater stuff and abandoned stuff, because that's my 2 favorite things. Could you put some of your tin on the roof to help? I've thought about that, but I don't want to drill into the roof and put more holes. And it's just, I don't know. I'll probably retar the one spot where it's leaking again once summer comes along, but maybe I'll throw some tin on there. I did a lot of work on that trailer last year, and I'm kind of sick of wasting any more time on it. It's good enough to provide shelter for me, and yeah, I don't want to spend any more money or time on it. I want to focus on other projects. KCS, is there any snow in your neighborhood? Where I live in Chittenden County, Vermont, there's hardly any snow because we've had warm weather the last week. Up at the land, there's about 3 feet of snow because the land is in the Northeast Kingdom, and it is usually 5 to 10 degrees colder up there. So Wake Up said you can screw pieces together, not on the roof. Yeah, I definitely could do that. The only problem is we get super high winds, so I would need to find a way to secure it to the roof. I could put cinder blocks on it. I'll figure out a way. That's not a bad idea. I mean, I guess in theory I could put a slab of tin up there and just slap some cinder blocks on it, and it would probably help a great deal. So maybe I will do that. There's Ernie. He finished his meal. Yeah. Let's see what everyone else said. How much traffic on that road? It's a private road, so the only traffic is my neighbors. It depends on the day. Some day there's people driving up and down, going to and from work. A lot of my neighbors work from home or they're farmers, so it's totally dependent. Aliquot said, hi, Jenny. That would be my last name, but I'll take it. Hi. Christine said, do you plan to build your dream place closer to the road or further away? The dream place will be pretty much where that trailer I'm picking apart in the episodes is, just probably 20 feet forward, so it's not super close to the poplar trees. So it should have a view of the whole field and that. And then we'll see. It's going to depend on the septic and a lot of different factors, but I have a rough idea of where it's going to go, and it will be further into the field from that trailer I'm demolishing, which won't be very far to put an additional bit of gravel to have a driveway up to it. Valentina asked, are you concerned about the wet insulation? Just not providing insulation or getting mold, or I'm not really concerned. Of the spots that did have wet insulation, I pulled the wall off and I put insulation board in, so that's more resistant to water than spray foam. So like I said, I don't live in there, so none of it's too concerning to me. Casual logic. I touched on this earlier. I can't wait to find out if you ever found a lawnmower that wouldn't break down. I won't spoil the surprise, but let's just say I did. Betty Blue, do you see otters up there? No, the river or creek I'm on is not deep enough. There's no otters on that, but there's a river nearby and there are otters. I haven't seen any. They're around. You just have to be out at dusk or dawn and be very lucky. But we've got them all over Vermont. We have a whole creek called the Otter Creek and a brewery called Otter Creek Brewing and all kinds of different otter-related things here in Vermont. Valentina asked mold. Surprisingly, I have not seen much mold in that trailer at all, and if there is mold, I'm not in it for a long enough period of time for it to really cause an effect to me. If I was living up there 7 days a week, then it would certainly be concerning. Northern Girl, I have a lot to do at my house. You give me inspiration. I'm glad I can offer inspiration to my Irish brethren or my fellow lady. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure watching me struggle pulling tin off the roof of that woodshed is inspiring or tiring. It was literally the most physically exhausting work I've done on the land, aside from moving like 100 cinder blocks. It was just so tiring, bending over with your back and prying and ripping, and builds good muscle though, that's for sure. Definitely got me in good shape. Is there any cliffs you can jump from your land? There is not, unfortunately, but there is probably at least 3 to 5 amazing cliff jumping spots within 20 to 25 minutes of me. So that was another reason I bought the land. I knew that some of my favorite swimming holes weren't that far. And my creek's about 3 feet deep when the water's flowing good, so it's deep enough to soak yourself in and lay down and relax. And if I do get a tractor, I'm getting a backhoe on it, and I'm going to bring it down there and make my river spot a little deeper, even though that's frowned upon by the state of Vermont, but we'll see. Jenny said it is inspiring. I painted my house after watching that. Interior, oh gosh, I've painted so many different places I've lived in, including this. It's such tedious work. I hate doing the painter's tape. I need to learn how to be better with a trim brush. Painting is rewarding, but gosh, is it soul-sucking. So more power to you for painting your house. $20 donation from Dr. D.L. Johnson. You're definitely a return viewer. I appreciate your donation. We're up to $88 towards Ernie's teeth cleaning, so we're doing it. We're doing the darn thing, and I wouldn't even expect anyone to help pay for it, so it's just a nice added bonus. I appreciate you guys. I'm trying to think about what else is going on in my world. You know, not too much. Got some friends from Tennessee that are going to visit at the end of February to come up here and ski and snowboard, so that'll be awesome. Going to take them to the land, so it'll probably be an episode of showing some Southerners a little northern hospitality. Shoot some guns, go down to the river, maybe do a cold plunge, camp in a trailer. Should be fun. Next weekend, with all of my good friends here in Vermont, we're doing our annual Vermonters ice cutting. And we're going to cut a hole at somewhere on Lake Champlain with some chainsaws and jump into the freezing cold water, which will be a nice, refreshing wake up. Frank said, you mentioned about showing Joey. Let's see if I can call him. Joey! Jojo! Joey! Maybe he'll come down. Casey asked, what kind of video work do you do? I basically work for any brand that wants to hire me, but I like to work with people I know that are working on something that's cool. I've shot corporate videos before, and they're soul draining, and it's definitely not my expertise. My preference is extreme sports because I like things that go fast, and I'm good at capturing stuff like that because it's part of who I am. But my three main clients are High Fives Foundation, which I've talked about in these lives before. They basically are a nonprofit that helps. Joey's my dog. Someone just asked who Joey is. High Fives helps people that have had life-altering spinal cord injuries get back to doing what they love. So that ranges from surf camps to adaptive skiing, and it's very humbling to see people that have literally gone through hell and back and can no longer use their legs be as motivated and ambitious to just tackle life and not let it deter them from enjoying their life. And it's just nice to work for a nonprofit and know that you're giving back. And then I work for Concept 2, which is based in Morrisville, Vermont, and they make the rowing machine, the bike erg, and the ski erg. And that's a super cool brand that was started in Vermont by Dick and Peter and their brothers, and they started with a dream, and they built an incredible company that's now hyper successful. I mean, if you go to any gym around the world, you'll probably see a Concept 2 rower. They also make the paddles, or oars, I should say, for all the Olympic and collegiate level rowing competitions. So I do a great deal of video work for them, and I'm super proud and thankful for that. And then the icing on the cake is Vermont Sports Car, which was started by a man named Lance Smith about 25 plus years ago. And he's a local guy from the same town that I'm from, just a local Vermont kid that followed his dream. And he pretty much pioneered rally culture in the United States. And he has run the Subaru Rally team for God knows how long, ranging from drivers like Colin McRae and all kinds of famous guys, David Higgins, Travis Pastrana, Brandon Semenuk. And so I am currently filming the Nitro Cross side of Vermont Sports Car, which is the EV electric racing. And it's a series created by Travis Pastrana. And Travis is one of the drivers, which is a trip to work with him because he's literally somebody I grew up watching. And I don't want to say idolizing, but he is the biggest pioneer in motocross and freestyle motocross and just everything. He's the GOAT, as they say, the greatest of all time, because he does it all. He's rally races, he rides dirt bikes, he's excelled at base jumping. He jumped out of a plane without a parachute, for Christ's sakes. The guy is insane. So I filmed him and Connor Martell, who was in one of these past lives. Connor's one of my good buddies from here locally, and Connor's the other driver. So I travel and film them driving super fast cars. And I think I'll get to do some of the ARA rallies, which is the stage rallies this year. At least I'm hoping to. And that will be super badass. That's when they're just going flat out 80 to 100 plus miles per hour on dirt roads. And they have a co-driver saying, right-hand turn coming, left-hand turn, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not getting rich by any means, but my work is always exciting. And I get to work with great brands. And I've gotten to experience a lot of cool places and things. And I think the grass is always greener. I just went and did a cannabis shoot for a friend in Maine 2 weeks ago, and he runs a hyper successful cannabis company in Maine. He's making great money for himself, but he acknowledged that the last 10 years he's barely had a day off, and he sees what I do, and part of him's envious, and it's the same for me. I see what he does, and I'm envious of the amount of money he's been able to accumulate for himself, because that, to some degree, I mean, that creates freedom. So I think I've found a nice balance in life, and I answer to myself most of the time. I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't dread going into work. There's times I have to travel for work and I really don't feel like doing it. But at the end of the day, I could travel and get free air miles and build up credit and have status on United. So when I do fly, I get free bags. I get upgraded to first class a lot of the time. There's a lot of perks to what I do. So that's a brief summation of my work. Are you in the fast car filming? No, they don't put us in the car when the drivers are racing. So I have like 15 GoPro cameras, and I mount cameras on the inside of the cars, on the outside, and then I shoot from the side of the track at different angles throughout the day. Hey, yay, yo said, hey, you've been doing so many different cool things, though. You are so young. What's the secret? How do you do it? I think I've just always followed my heart. And I don't know. I've always been of the ilk that everything will work out. Like, even with finances, I'm not afraid to spend money, like on the land. I pretty much tapped into my entire life savings to buy that land. And I just have this underlying mindset that as long as I'm willing to work and put in the effort, everything will work out for me. And so I used to be way more driven with video work. Like when I first got into video, I was so uber passionate about it. It was the only thing that I could think about. It consumed me. What video am I going to make next? What extreme sport can I shoot? And I look back on that era in my life, and I definitely miss having that hunger and passion. But my passion's been diverted into new endeavors like the land. So, and I think with anything with life, none of those feelings will last forever. So it's about figuring out a way, in my case, to monetize them. I just followed my heart. I moved to California because I was sick of the cold and miserable weather here in Vermont. And I knew I would network there. And eventually I networked well enough to land a job opportunity at GoPro, which was the company that got me into cameras. I bought a GoPro and started filming cliff jumping videos around Vermont at all our swimming holes, and realized this is what I love doing. And then I ended up getting a job there and basically getting a paid education working for a Fortune 500 company, getting to travel the world and work with the top level motorsports athletes. So my story is certainly a unique one, I would say, and it's also a testament to the time we live in. If you really want something bad enough and you're willing to put in the effort and dedicate all of your free time to it, there's nothing stopping you from achieving your dreams. And nowadays you could start a business in 20 minutes by creating a TikTok, an Instagram page, a YouTube, and starting posting content of what you're doing. So there's a lot of people out there with excuses, and the market is more saturated. But if you're truly a go-getter, hard work beats talent 90% of the time. And I know I'm talented to some degree with a camera, but there's many, many people that are way more talented than me. But I'm easy to work with, and people like my personality, and I think that's carried me equally as far as my skill behind a camera. Oh, sorry, I'm scrolling back up. How does one know, Saint STJ asks, how does one know when buying weed at a dispensary that it's unadulterated? Well, if it's being sold at a dispensary, then that means it's gone through preliminary testing. I mean, different states have different testing procedures involved, but like my buddy's cannabis facility, everything is tested for particulate, allergens, everything. So if it's made it to market and it's at a dispensary, unless they're buying it from the black market, it should definitely be safe. Debbie Cruz said, "You're what we call an old soul, young but mature in thought and action." I appreciate that, Debbie. I've always been of that ilk, I think. Susan said, "I love the video of your sweet Bosnian grandmother. Made me cry. You were so nice to her." Yeah, just thinking about that makes me get emotional. She was super special. Jenny said, "You need to hire you to film an ad for my land and new speakeasy. I'm terrible with tech, and the drone footage you get is awesome." Yeah, where's your speakeasy? I won't lie, I travel a lot for work, and I'm not the cheapest, but I definitely like helping the cat community, and you've definitely supported me. So if you're close by, I wouldn't be against helping. Cats, 10 euro donation. Love that. Thank you. Europeans representing. Pamela Miller, $50 donation. Wow. From my fur babies, Ginger Souffle and Tuxman. We appreciate that. Chester and especially Ernie say thank you. Hey, yeah, thank you for your comprehensive reply. Yeah, your story is definitely unique, a bit intimidating too, honestly, because you're so driven and talented, and some of us just can't. Yeah, I don't know what's given me that drive. I think it's going to sound silly to say, but I'm 50% Swiss, and I know that the Swiss culture and Swiss people mean business. They get shit done. And I don't know, I was raised in the 90s, and I watched so many movies growing up, and movies always give you an idyllic perspective that everything will work out, or there's 90% of the time it's a happy ending, and I think a lot of that influenced me. Like, I used to just be obsessed with Indiana Jones and all these old cool exploration movies, and that translated to exploring insane asylums. I think that's a big reason I like that. Like the Goonies. The Goonies is one of my favorite movies. It's just some kids exploring. Like, I live for that, and I'm definitely thankful for it. I do think there's some element of brainwashing from those movies too, like what people's idea of love is, and how a relationship should look, and women just waiting for their big wedding day and having it being some big thing, which I'm not against, and that's no judgment, but I think movies have given people a lot of false ideas of what things have to look like as well. So like anything, take it with a grain of salt and make your own deduction based on what you watch. But I think that the era that I grew up in was it was a time of of relative peace and inspiration. I mean, my dad also he's an entrepreneur, and he started his business 30 plus years ago, and he always worked for himself. So I always saw him at home working for himself, and I've worked plenty of 9 to 5 jobs, but I used to bartend, and I would just be dealing with drunk people, and the whole time in my head I would be going, I cannot fucking wait till I can make money doing video work and I don't have to deal with these assholes. And nothing against drunk people, but if you've ever worked at a bar and been there till 2 a.m., people turn into animals. So I think I just, was driven by circumstance and just wanting to prove myself for my own personal sake. I didn't go to college. I was filled with a great deal of anxiety when I graduated high school because I had many friends that knew their path, and I didn't have a damn clue of what I wanted to do. And that was super overwhelming at a young age when you're told your whole life that you're expected. I wasn't told that I had to go to college, but just watching movies and everything, that's what people do. They go to college and party in college and get a degree and all this shit. And I was selling weed and saving money to travel, Europe. And honestly, travel has given me all the answers I've ever needed. Like, going somewhere new and experiencing fresh cultures and just experiencing the world has been the most inspiring and fulfilling thing for me. And so it was just a continuation of those efforts, moving to California and getting out of my comfort zone and taking a leap of faith. And I think it's pretty true. If you're not willing to get out of your comfort zone and deal with a certain degree of anxiety, you'll never grow. So stress is good. It's good to, same with physical stress. Your body needs that. If we just sit around all day and we're sedentary and don't do shit, it's not doing our body any favors. So I would encourage everyone to try and get out of their comfort zone. And I also heard a good quote, and this isn't word for word, but if you're not happy with the way your life is, do the opposite of everything you're doing. Like, I wasn't happy smoking weed every day. I enjoyed it because it was numb me, but it would also make me very scatterbrained and make it harder for me to accomplish my daily goals. And I stopped doing that this year, and it feels great. And now I don't feel like I need to take a bong rip before I do every single thing I do every day. And that sounds silly, but I was abusing it, and I'm totally pro cannabis, but it's no different than anything. You don't need to drink a Red Bull every day. You don't need a Monster Energy. You don't need to drink coffee. Like, all you need is water and food and the right mindset. Sorry, I'm freaking going on rants here. Goonies never say die. Love it. Frank said the otter camp community is strong today. Indeed it is. Everyone in here is cool as hell. Christine said, my nephew does similar to you, but you're much more advanced at the craft. I've checked out your website. It's incredible what you've accomplished so far. Well, thank you so much. And I hope your nephew continues to pursue it, and just tell him that the relationships and the way he carries himself and being open to opportunity is equally as important as his skill level. There's plenty of people that are not the best at their craft, but the way they carry themselves takes you a lot further in business. Nobody wants to work with somebody that's super weird and makes them feel uncomfortable. So Hey Ayo said you had then some support and inspiration from your parents too. Yeah, I have great parents. We've definitely had our hardships, but I have amazing parents and I'm super thankful for that. I was a high school graduate and retired at 57, Laura Bishop said. Hard work and drive win every time. Yeah, and I wish I did like trade school in high school. I went to tech because the only thing I retained from high school is my social skills. Like I would much rather know carpentry right now, even if I wasn't doing it for a living. And that was a bummer with my generation. I think we were all semi brainwashed from movies and just the culture we're in that, oh, you're gonna go to college and get a degree and college is the key to success. And it's like, no, the kids that get out of high school, bust their ass, learn a trade, already own a home. They have consistent work. They're DIYers or they're what is it, grifters as the people in the UK say. They figure shit out. And I think there's not enough value put in people working in the trades. And if I ever do have kids, I'm certainly not going to shy them away from learning how to fix things and work with their hands. So that even if they don't want to do that for a living, they won't have to pay somebody and they'll be able to figure stuff out on their own. Project KGC. My last day at work is tomorrow after working nonstop 25 years. I'm retiring early, going to own my own time, getting back in shape first. I love that. Book yourself a trip too. If you got some money squirreled away, think about one of those places you always wanted to go as a kid and just book a trip and go see somewhere new and different. That'll fill you with a new hunger for life. I can promise you that. And yeah, congratulations on all your hard work. That's awesome. Uh-oh, Wake Up said I heard they're making Goonies too. I'm already scared. You can't make a second version of that movie, especially if there's no Chunk. Gotta have Chunk in there. Truffle Shuffle for life. Well, anyone else have any other questions? Oh, here we go. Hey, yeah, yo. Didn't you feel any weird vibes in those insane asylums? I'm probably gonna bum a lot of people out on this response because a lot of people ask me about ghosts. I definitely feel vibes inside insane asylums in the sense that when you think about the history and the things, whether it was, diabolical treatments that they thought were, the new technology. Granted, all of that stuff was done with people's best interest in mind most of the time, but there was a lot of abuse. If you just stand in those buildings and think about them when they were active, it's very powerful just to think about people milling through the halls, nurses in the nurses' station, patients slumped out in chairs. And in that sense, I definitely pick up on vibes because I like to imagine that. But I have never had any ghostly encounters. And the majority of the insane asylums I explore, I generally do so by myself. I wake up at 3 in the morning. I sneak into them at 4 in the morning. I sleep on the floor with my head against my backpack till about 5:30 or when the sun rises, and then I wake up and shoot the sunrise. And in 7+ years of exploring them, countless times, I've probably been to more than 40 different insane asylums. I don't even know, and some of them more than 10 times. I've never had any ghost encounters. And I would say, I know people say you're not open to the spirits. I am very open. Like, I would love to have a ghost encounter. I bring positive energy. I would hang out with them, do whatever, but I've never had any. The scariest encounters I've had in abandoned insane asylums are animals. Like, I've heard raccoons crawling through ducts and through a building when I was in there in the middle of the morning before the sun rose, and I was so sure that there was someone else in the building, only to discover that there was raccoons crawling through the hallway, and then I started to try and feed them Cliff Bar. Um, so yeah, mostly animals, and then copper scrappers who are usually addicted to meth, and you're just the whole time you're like, this person was smart. They would rob me for my super expensive camera gear instead of cutting pipes out of a building with an angle grinder or a sawzall that are worth $10 a piece. Let's see what people are asking. If you want to see my photography, justinjenny.com or instagram.com/justinjenny. Instagram will have more stuff. Jenny Wagner, worked in mental health for 25 years and go to those places, you just feel sadness. I don't feel all sadness. I feel a lot of mixed emotions. I know a lot of people's stories were sad, but I would like to think that there was a lot of caring people that worked at those places, and I've certainly heard plenty of accounts and spoken to many past nurses, and they thoroughly loved working a lot of those places, and they really did care about the people they took care of. Obviously, in the early 1900s, lobotomies, hydrotherapy, and throughout the 1900s, the treatments have evolved, and a lot of it was pretty barbaric, but I think a lot of it was done with good intention. But like anything, when there's authority involved, there will always be an abuse of power, and there's no doubt in my mind that people were sexually abused and taken advantage of, and women used to get admitted to insane asylums because they were going through menopause and their husbands didn't want to deal with them. So it's just another subject where it's not black and white, but I've accumulated a great deal of files. These are all from insane asylums. These are all old patient files, old scans. One of these has LSD scans that shows the effect of LSD on patients' brains, which is so cool. But I have certainly collected a great deal of old asylum history. Yeah, like this is an old ward report and journal from, let's see where the date is, 1975. How's that for history? And my goal eventually someday is to pair all of my photos and my stories and do a book that details the evolution of mental health treatment in the United States of America and touches on the architecture, the treatments, the future of treatments, and yeah, it'll be cool. I was gonna focus on that because I found a book mentor last year, but once I bought the land, it kind of consumed me. So for the time being, that project's on the back burner, but it'll be a nice project to tackle once I have a house to sit in and look out at my land and start organizing all the files and figuring out what I want to scan to put into a book. Sorry, I'm just gonna put this on the table so it's not shaky. Laura Bishop said, I love watching shows like Ghost Hunters. There's so many people that do, and I just cannot stand them. Not the people, the show itself. Those people are literally capitalizing on people's want for ghosts to be real. And I don't know if ghosts are real or not, but those guys are complete bullshitters. I hate to say it, but they're all fraudulent. I've slept in those buildings. I've never had any of the occurrences. Maybe I'm not open to the spirits, but I just think it's a huge crock of shit. And also, this is my biggest argument against ghosts. Humans put so much stock in the value of our life. If we have ghosts, does that mean every animal that dies has a ghost? Because then the world would be running rampant with animal ghosts. Because in my opinion, an animal's life is equally as potent as a human life. So that's my biggest argument. If you think there's ghosts for humans, then there has to be ghosts for all the animals. I don't know. But everyone's entitled to their opinion. And I still want to believe that ghosts are real, and I'm still open to encountering that. Like I'm not a full-blown naysayer. It's just those ghost hunting shows, to me, are a giant crock of shit. But they are entertaining, so. Doggy Mama, hi friends from Chittenden County, VT. Hey, Doggy Mama. VTers unite, Vermont strong. Yut. Someone commented on my last video and said dirt bikes are a destruction to nature's tranquility. And it's just the things that people comment on the internet are so hypocritical. I commented back because I couldn't help myself, and I said, do you wipe your ass with toilet paper? Because toilet paper is a product of logging. And how much destruction on the tranquility of nature does logging cause? Way more than some kid riding his dirt bike in a field. Hey, yo. By the way, would you consider collaborating to support an animal charity? Not mine. I'm not referring to donating money. I just know a small team of animal rescuers who are in a desperate situation. I mean, if you want to mention them, and I'll certainly shout them out. I collaborated with Life with 18 Cats and did a live with her. If they have YouTube live or they want to do something. What does your family think of your popularity on YouTube? They think it's funny. My dad's always like, a package showed up today, big box from Maureen Shea, and she donated a nice big bag of cat food, dry food, and my dad just cracks up. I think he's not blown away, but he's like, geez, people really do love you in Chester, huh? It's just funny to him more than anything. Sandy said, in my opinion, all animals have souls, feelings, and emotions. We are all limited to the body animal we're born into. I agree. I think animals' lives are just as potent as our own. So I just wonder if people ever take that into consideration. I think we put so much stock in our life. And granted, it's totally dependent on your personal beliefs as well, but I just think I'm lucky to be here, and I've stood in rivers and acknowledged that they flowed long before me and they will flow long after me. And that's kind of the beauty of life. When are you on the dodo? I'm not sure. I'm waiting. They sent me an email last week and said they're working on a rough draft to send over so I can approve it and just watch it. So as soon as that happens, I'm sure they're buried in animal content and just trying to do the best they can. I used to have a job much similar to that, so I understand how it goes. Hey, yeah, let me see it. They're called Breaking the Chains. Breaking the Chains, everybody. Check them out. Go help out a cat rescue. Are they on YouTube, Instagram? Where are they based? Doggy Mama said from feral to family in Addison County VT rescues. There's also a rescue from St. J that follows my channel from St. Johnsbury, Vermont. Tammy, hey, did you read my comment? Hey, good way to give off lots of gas. Boone would smell it, lol. I just did read your comment now, Tammy. A friend of mine had piano downstairs and they heard it play a few notes. Hey, everyone's got ghost stories. I've had creepy experiences too, but I've never had an experience where I knew for a fact it was a ghost. I've had so many experiences that were animals and structural instabilities in buildings, creaking, wind, shutters, but who knows? I would like to believe they exist. Andrea M., would you ever take video sponsors? Do you mean like a brand, or do you mean like a person sponsoring the video? What are we talking here? I know I'm one of those people that will never sell out and work with brands and try and push products or peddle products on people that I don't actually use or support. Obviously, it's pretty apparent that I love DeWalt tools from all the videos if you've watched them. So if DeWalt ever hit me up, I would happily be an ambassador or a sponsor for them. Also for Canon, like the camera company, or GoPro or whatever. But I would like to say I'm authentic and I will never sell out for a paycheck. Like, I had this cat robot litter company hit me up and they wanted to send me some litter bots, but it was a full-blown Chinese company, and I looked up reviews and everyone said the litter boxes just break and don't work well at all. And I'm like, oh, that's great. You guys are pumping out shit that's going to end up in a landfill and it doesn't even work. And that's kind of the funny thing about today. Everything that's produced is not built to last. It all has a shelf life. Whereas stuff that used to be made, it was made so that you could repair it and it could last longer. And it's just sad to see. It's like the accumulation of garbage we're creating. So I opted to tell them I was all set, even though they wanted to send me two $600 robot litter boxes. I'm not going to peddle some random company's bullshit. Exactly, junk, just to get free stuff. And they know what they're doing. They're tapping into people that are videographers or have a following. It's just, I'm not about it. Jenny said, I'm an animal communicator by trade now, so I for sure believe in spirit and animal spirits. When I lost my two cats, it opened up all my gifts. You never know when that'll happen. I believe it too, to some degree. I mean, I'd like to think that Chester or Ernie is Richard, the old man spirit carried on in these cats. But yeah, I'm not a full-blown ghost naysayer. The ghost hunting shows bother me. Aliquot, gotta dip soon. So do I. Need to get some dinner. I'll show you guys Chester. He's snuggling. Snuggly wuggly boo. He just ate dinner. He tried to eat Ernie's dinner. You devious boy. Look at you. You're so cute. Look, he's got his little support paw pressed against the bed. He shakes this tree. He is definitely a heavy load. Yeah, he's so cute. Look at this fluff. I just want to sleep in it. I'm sorry. I'll leave you alone. Ernie should be under here. Nope. Where's Ernie? It's always a mystery with this cat, I tell you. There he is. Sorry you can't see him too well. He's there, though. Ernie. Let's see if I can coax him out. I'm going to try and set up an angle here. This is not good. Sorry, I'm trying to get this set up. I'm going to rest my phone on something. All right, let's see. Come here. Can I pet you? Some little petties? Oh, he's purring. Sorry, the lighting's horrible. Come here. He's not moving, guys. I'm sorry. I tried. There he is. The original Bat Boy. Batman. Oh, big yawn. Smurfette said I'd appreciate some love and healing energy sent out to my kitty who's been in the hospital. Me, Chester, and Ernie are putting positive vibes out there for you, Smurfette. We care about you. Well, everybody, I think that's going to conclude tonight's live. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. I love you guys. And everyone that donated, wow, $173. There we go. That's almost a third of what the cost will be to get Ernie's teeth cleaned. So that's huge. Really appreciate you guys. Look forward to an episode on Tuesday. I do. Someone asked, do you have a camera on watching them when you're gone? I have 2 Blink cameras, so I can keep an eye on them, even though my dad will be here. And yeah, appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good week. I hope you tackle any projects you're trying to do. I hope everyone has a fulfilling week with positivity, and I'll be back again next week. I'll post at the beginning of the week when I plan to go live. And Smurfette asked, when's the next live? It'll probably be next Thursday. I'll post the time. Hey, yo, thank you for your time, Justin. It's amazing that you actually take the time to read and reply to comments. I've been bad about that the last 2 weeks. I've been going through a lot with the loss of my friend, and just, well, I'm a little seasonally depressed, so I haven't been responding to as many comments on the videos, but I will be back to it when I can. And I love all you guys, and have a great week and weekend. Cheers.